I'm going to, we can go, you go there, Sheila, and I can...
Always the director. Bossy.
I'm a theatre director, where people can see. Right, here we go. You can see people.
Is that good?
Yep.
Okay. John, I want to invite you into not details, the generalities.
Yeah, go on. Absolutely.
We're at the end of an amazing day.
Mm-hmm.
I have been very touched and very moved. And I'm wondering what has captured you, what arresting moments, what, without the detail. Because we don't have time.
Well, I'm not going to sort of answer that straight away, Sheila.
So this isn't a conversation.
Well, I want to correct something, which it may seem that I'm anti-science in what I've been saying and writing, and I'm absolutely not. I think what has happened scientifically, particularly in the last few years, is amazing. What I'm against is the effort to try and transfer experimental laboratory physics into ordinary people's ordinary, everyday, ordinary life. It's that transfer of the experimental laboratory kind of science that I am worried about. What has been, you know, I read physicists a lot, actually. Okay, I wanted to correct that. I am not anti-science.
But John, don't you think, let me pick up on that, because don't you, I mean, I think what you're trying to say, and I completely agree, is that people who are doing science are doing things like you're talking about.
Absolutely, yeah. And the imaginative work that they're doing in particular now, it is both amazing, and as I said in a little piece that I spoke out about dark matter and so forth, I feel a lot of their thinking is running parallel to our kind of thinking. Relational things, stuff that only appears in the entanglements between different streams of activity. That's part of current physics as well.
But the unfortunate thing is that the common view of science is the laboratory. I'm trying to say it in a British way. I would say laboratory.
Laboratory. I learnt American when I was in yeah.
So, all right. So, what has arrested you today?
Well, the whole character of this event, actually. And perhaps you heard when I was talking with Jack, Sheila's husband, and I said, this is all going on in a university. And I know I laughed a little bit at the end of it. But events like this, where people perform things, some of the talk has been very intellectual talk, but other talk has taken people right into the practicalities of, well, family transitions in local businesses, which, if they're not conducted properly, the economy of Gotland doesn't survive. Some of these things are extremely important in everyday practicalities of it. Yeah.
John, do you think we were talking about you or with you today?
Well, there's a little bit I've put on. You see, I do read technical stuff, and you know, there's something called conversational analysis or discourse analysis, and one of the concepts in that area is the concept of occasioning. Somebody tells a joke, and somebody says, "Oh, I've got a joke like that," and the telling of a joke occasions the telling of other jokes. And I thought that today is not so much about me or with me as I have provided an occasion for an enormous amount of people getting together, and you know, you picked out this relating and orienting, and people realising different ways of relating or orienting towards this stuff.
Yeah, you have really provided the occasion for us to come together and talk and share in such a rich, incredibly rich day.
I've no idea what has gone on amongst you at all.
I want to share with you some of my observations because I was watching you today. I was engaging in surveillance. And the delight on your face and the, maybe my imagination, but I felt when people were speaking your words, or when you were speaking your words, that you already knew those words, you know, as you could quote Wittgenstein or someone, you remembered the specific moment. It looked to me on your face as you were listening and watching that you were in that conversation again, right there.
Yeah. Well, yes, absolutely, absolutely. For me, this has been overwhelming. It really has. For a beginning, I never thought so many people would come as far. I never thought so many people, so to speak, would get it. Getting this stuff is not easy.
I think one thing that's happened today is people have talked about how your way of writing and talking has made it possible to get it, because it's a different way of writing and talking.
Mm. Well, this is why I called what I've written just recently, you know, this last book, Speaking Actually. Speaking in all of its different variations, speaking as face-to-face speaking. In the end, you know, Freud said that sex was the primordial human scene, but for me, face-to-face speaking is the primordial human scene. People meeting each other, people creating between them that kind of in-touchness where what it is that matters to them becomes, so to speak, visible. All right, cross-pollination. But another phrase that I have taken from this crazy guy, Harold Garfinkel, he talks about rational visibility. To bring something that's just felt without words into rational visibility, to make it something that is part of our public understanding of each other. But let me, another thing I wanted to go back to, Sheila, was that quote that I think you may have attributed it to me, and I shouted out, no, it's Barnett Pearce who formulated it, saying, I was talking to John Shotter one day,
Oh,
and I said...
what do you mean, John?
Well, yes, exactly.
What do you mean, John? I don't know, we haven't finished talking yet.
Yes, exactly.
That was Barnett who said that.
Yes.
About you?
I don't know whether myself I ever actually said that.
Well, fact or fiction doesn't matter. It's a beautiful description of talking with you.
Yes. And this idea, I mean, another phrase I've used is creatively stumbling around in words, of knowing that there's a meaning there to express, but not quite knowing whether one's succeeded in expressing it. And Justine talking about Samuel Beckett and saying, it's no use me kind of trying to say what Waiting for Godot is about. Everything that matters in that play is there, happening on the stage. But on the other hand, Beckett did write a little bit about the task of writing. And I could say Peter Rober stole it from me, because he ends
We're not going to use that word anymore. You have to listen to your son.
I know. But I love this little bit of Beckett. He says, try, fail, try again, fail better. And I kind of adhere to that. Whether I've ever succeeded in really writing what needs to be written, I've no idea.
What do you think? Okay, I want to avoid you saying one last thing.
Okay. You can say that.
No, so I want to ask you, I want to invite you to say one last thing, which is, what are the words you want to end today with?
I want to stand up, just for a moment. And I just want to say to everybody, if I can, because I'm very moved, thank you so much for today. That's all. Just thank you.
So there's wine.
Thank
folks.
you all again.
There's wine, folks. Thank you all so much for coming, John, Cherry especially, and family. Thank you again.